The movie begins with 50 people standing unconscious in a dark room, arranged in two circles around a black dome. A woman wakes up first and tries to step off her platform, but an alarm goes off. She tries to touch another person, and the alarm sounds again. Another woman wakes up and, in fear, tries to leave the circle. A beam from the dome strikes and kills her. The rest of the people wake up when a light turns on. A man tries to calm them, but the device kills him in the middle of his speech. Panic spreads as the group watches the bodies of the dead being dragged away. Suddenly, the dome makes strange noises, and every 2 minutes another person is killed. After several deaths, the group realizes the room's technology allows them to use hand gestures to vote for who will die. Arrows on the floor show each person their own vote, but no one else can see it. They try to stop voting altogether, but after 2 minutes, someone is chosen at random and killed. The failed attempt throws the group back into panic as they fear they will all die. A college student suggests a plan to buy more time: eliminate the elderly first, since they would normally be the next to die in real life. A pregnant woman and others protest, but the majority agrees, and they vote to eliminate an elderly man. The captives begin discussing where they are, how they got there, who abducted them, and why. A young man named Eric remembers trying to flee Los Angeles, and others agree with him. Eric explains that he was pulled into the air and later woke up in a red room with other humans. The old man who is next in line agrees with Eric, saying he saw and heard aliens. But the group, who already decided to eliminate the elderly first, dismiss his words and vote for him to be killed. Next, the college student targets a 52-year-old cancer survivor. Some people object, saying she is not elderly, but most of the group votes against him, and he is eliminated. The 52-year-old survivor suggests they should get to know each other, as it might help them. A woman named Beth begins introducing herself, but while speaking she is randomly chosen by the dome and killed. After this, the group decides not to mention their names during introductions. Several people say they recognize others. One man identifies the woman next to him as his wife, and another man points out the doctor he was having an affair with. Among the group is a Spanish man who cannot speak English, and they see him as useless since he cannot contribute. They decide to vote for him to be eliminated, but instead, an Asian woman is killed. A tattooed man named Raul is recognized by a police officer, who accuses him of beating his girlfriend, and when he confirms it to be true, Raul is then eliminated. After several minorities are eliminated, an African American man claims the process has become racist. Some people dispute this, but when the cop starts a racist rant, he is chosen next and eliminated. The captives experiment with the voting system. They discover they cannot vote for themselves and try to give one vote to every person in the circle. However, one man gives an extra vote to the pregnant woman, so Eric votes for him. This creates a tie, and the man is killed in a runoff vote. Eric then makes an important observation: since no one can vote for themselves, the game will continue until only one person is left alive, and that person will survive. Among the captives is a pregnant woman and a child, and the group believes one of them should be the survivor. While many agree, some argue that everyone is equal and should be treated the same. In another vote, there is a tie between the child and an older woman, and the woman is killed. Since either the little girl or the pregnant woman will die next anyway, the group votes again, and this time there is a tie between the two. As one man starts to push for both of them to be killed, the dome kills him, and with no other options, someone suggests a sacrifice. No one volunteers at first, but a 16-year-old named Sean offers to do it. However, a businessman stops him and sacrifices himself instead. Despite this, Sean still decides to sacrifice his life to buy the others time. The rest of the group is disappointed with a Marine who refused to sacrifice himself and instead let Sean do it. The Marine explains that he has spent years fighting in wars, hasn't seen his family, and was on his way home when he was abducted and brought here. He tells the group he will not die and will see his family again, and some agreed not to vote for him. A grieving elderly woman, whose son was killed by a driver while riding his bicycle, decides to sacrifice her own life. A minister among them tells her she will be reunited with her son, and the elderly woman sacrifices herself. However, an atheist in the group begins antagonizing the minister and the other believers who praise the volunteer's faith. A vote is held, which ends in a tie between the atheist and a woman. The woman is killed instead, briefly saving the atheist. But when he mocks the woman beside him for having her boss pay for her breast enlargement, he is killed. Someone suggests that those without children should sacrifice themselves, but the majority disagrees with the idea. Suddenly, a homophobic lawyer targets a woman, who turns out to be lesbian and giving reasons why she should be eliminated. But instead, the lawyer is killed. After 2 minutes, the doctor and her former lover are killed, followed by an Asian man and several others. The group begins to think that maybe the purpose of the game is to find and vote out the biggest sinner, and then it will end. They realize that when only 2 people are left, one of them must refuse to vote and be killed, leaving the other as the winner. This creates a split. Some want to survive themselves, some believe the pregnant woman or the child should be the survivor, and others refuse to kill in order to stay alive. The group keeps debating who deserves to live, whether based on morality, ability to help society, or believing that all lives are equal. Others argue lives are not equal, since the little girl has many years ahead of her, and the pregnant woman counts as 2 people. As people make their choices clear, different blocks begin to form. At one point, the little girl ties with the Spanish man, but he sacrifices himself to save her. In another tie with a banker, and someone secretly vote for the banker and he is killed. One block, led by Eric, the Marine, and the cancer survivor, believes everyone should sacrifice themselves so the pregnant woman and the little girl can survive. The other block, led by a bearded man and a rich man, wants to eliminate the 2 immediately, arguing that everyone is equal and no special privileges should be given. A husband and wife initially vote with the bearded man's block, but the husband is forced to side with Eric's block when they threaten to eliminate his wife. Under questioning, the couple admit their relationship was fake, made up to gain favor, and as a result, the husband is eliminated. Eric's faction suffers heavy losses, including the Marine, the cancer survivor, and another woman. But by manipulating the remaining voters and relying on the trust he has built with the pregnant woman and the little girl, Eric manages to eliminate the opposing faction, including the bearded man. This leaves only 4: Eric, the pregnant woman, the girl, and a silent man who has never voted and has stayed neutral the whole time. With no other choice and with regret, the 3 vote the silent man off, who accepts his death in stoic silence. When the pregnant woman asks why this is happening to them, Eric suggests that the aliens are using the process to learn about humanity's values. He tells the girls that to make sure one of them survives, someone must volunteer with him. The little girl, Katie, bravely decides to sacrifice herself so the woman and her unborn child can live, but it is revealed to be a trick. As Katie steps off her platform, expecting Eric to do the same, he instead votes for the pregnant woman, killing her. Eric wins, but when nothing happens, he believes the machine will kill him too. Instead, it reveals that there was a 51st player all along, the unborn child still alive in the dead woman's body. Eric votes to kill the child, making himself the sole survivor. He wakes up in Los Angeles and joins a group of people of different ages and backgrounds, including pregnant women. It is unclear if these are survivors or winners of their own circles. Together, they watch the alien ships floating above the city, and the movie concludes. Okay guys, that's all the recap about The Circle from 2015. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.